Want to transform your science discussions from silent stares to student-led discovery?
Join us as we break down parts of scientist circles, where students question, collaborate, and think like real scientists.
Tune in for quick tips and teacher-tested strategies.
Listen now and let's spark some science talk. NGSS, never gonna stop speaking.
Today, we're diving into something that will completely change the way you run whole class discussions, the scientist circle. Think less crickets in the classroom and more engaged young scientists, debating, questioning, and collaborating. Sounds pretty good, right?
It does. In my classroom experience, we'd have a whole class discussion, nobody talks. So how is scientist circle different?
A scientist circle is basically a structured discussion that mirrors how real scientists actually work, analyzing data, proposing ideas, challenging each other, and refining their understanding. It shifts the classroom from teacher asks, student answers, to students truly engaging in scientific discourse.
And honestly, isn't that what we want? More ownership, deeper thinking, fewer, is this going to be on the test type questions.
Exactly. So let's talk about the benefits. Critical thinking is developed, which we all know is an important soft skill that is going to be used beyond the traditional education system. Students actually have to justify their thinking with evidence, listen to each other's perspectives, and adjust their thinking based on what they've heard.
And they're the ones leading it. That's awesome. Instead of us spoon-feeding answers, they're asking their own questions, making connections, and figuring things out like actual scientists.
And communication skills are going to get a major boost when you use the scientist circle. We all know how important it is for scientists to communicate clearly. And in a scientist circle, students practice articulating their thoughts and responding to their peers in a meaningful way.
Another win, inclusivity. You know how you always have those same 5 students who are answering the questions? In a scientist circle, you are opening up space to allow everyone to contribute and to respond to each other's ideas.
Okay, so how do we actually do this? Let's give some quick tips. First and foremost, it's not a scientist circle if you don't actually get your students into a circle. When you're physically in a circle, you're able to easily look at everybody who's talking and make those personal connections. When it's teacher at the front, students in rows, they don't have the ability to actually have the conversations like we want them to have. So taking the time to set routines to form a circle is really beneficial for your scientist circle.
One thing I used to do is to do time tests to see how much faster they could get in, because it's a big barrier to have to disrupt my room, or if my room's not big enough, I would have to do something. So even if you have them standing or instead of sitting, whatever you can do to teach them that routine to get in place is really important. So that comes with setting expectations. So make sure students know what respectful discourse is, what it looks like. There's active listening, there's evidence-based arguments, and they're not talking and interrupting each other.
Whenever you're having some sort of discussion, it's great to have a hook, right? Some way to get them engaged. So whether that's from your engaging phenomena at the beginning when you did your anchoring phenomena, there's been some sort of weird science mystery that they've collected data from, or they're looking at data that could be surprising for them. All of these things are going to help that great hook, and curiosity is going to thrive in these situations.
Another thing I struggled with was facilitating versus dominating. I often was the one dominating the conversation. In a scientist circle, you want to make sure you set up the routine that you aren't doing the talking and the students are talking to one another. So let them do that heavy lifting. Don't forget about the pregnant pause. It works wonders, trust me.
And finally, always make sure that at the end of discussions, you're having students reflect and refine what happened. Have students actually think and talk about how the discussion went. what they learned, and how their ideas evolved. It is all part of that scientific process.
So teachers, if you're looking for a way to make science discussions more engaging, more student-led, and let's be honest, more fun, give Scientist Circle a try.
Trust us, your students will thrive, and we want to hear all about it. Snap a picture or share a quick story of your Scientist Circle in action and tag us on social media. Let's build a community of teachers inspiring each other.
Thanks for tuning in to Science Solutions. If you found it useful, share it with a colleague and subscribe to get notified when our next episode comes out. Sign up to receive Science Solutions in your inbox to access resources, reflection questions, and actionable insights.
Until next time, keep inspiring your students and making shift happen. You've got this.